Right, today folks, today we're going to fit a set of aftermarket reverse sensors into a Daica duster. So there's the sensors, there's the control box which is going to go in the boot, and we've got the other bit in the front. So we're going to start doing the front, and I'm going to film it as I install it, and I'm going to be taking off that side panel, not on the left, because behind there is everything I need. And then we're going to find a spot right where the wires can come through, which is probably down here, one of the rubber bungs I might take out. So I'm going to back in a minute. Alright, now we're going to fit a reverse parking sensor to a 2015 Duster. Right, now this is bit is going to be in the front of the car. We're just going to have to sit up there, on a sticky pad, because it's the only place it can go. Really, is sitting there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the cable along here. Yeah, that's the reversing camera, by the way. I'm going to run the cable all the way down this door frame. In. I've already started taking the seal off. I'm going to run it underneath the carpet, past here. Then I'm going to come to the back section. I'll get the coat out of the way. And I'm going to undo the two screws here, so this comes out. And I'm going to run the cable through here, going all the way through here. And then when I get to the seat here, I'm going to take this seal off as well. And so the cable runs underneath here. And I'm going to pop it through there, and I'm going to run across the back of the boot. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll start on the front first. Right, here we go. It's a bit difficult when you're trying to hold a phone and doing it at the same time. So I'm going to pause the video and come back. Right, so I've run the cable down through here. I've got to push that in there a bit better. In there. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this top part of the seal back on. So I've run it underneath here. Yeah, so it runs down there. So let's get this pushed back on. Being careful because I have got other cables running through there for the reversing camera. And for those who watch right to the end, you're going to see the wiring for a towbar electrics on one of these. And so it will help you if you're going to do yours. But this is on a 2015, so don't think they're going to be the same as a 14 and the 13 and the 16, 17 plate. It might be, actually, but can't be 100% sure. Right, now I'm going to do this bit next, and then I'll come back. Right, quick note for you. There's me thinking I could be cheeky and try and push something through and pull the cable up through the other side, through there. Yeah, you need to undo this T20 screw here. Do one on here, there's one just at the other end, the other side there. Undo them, but don't take them all the way out, just so you can get this out just enough. And so you can just shove something through here, to connect onto the other side. In fact, I think that's just gone through. Yes, it has. The bloody sod. But I'm not going to get it through. I'm not going to get the head of the connector through this side because it's not big enough. So I have to undo that T20 there. So it's T20 screw in there. So I'm going to get that done and then come back. Right, I've actually decided to take the screw out completely. Now this asshole, I'm going to just undo the second screw. I'll move the seat forward. If you're wondering how I got to the second screw. And they're both T20s, like I said. So that's out far enough for me to get in. I'm not going to undo the seatbelt bolt. There's more than enough room for me to get it through. I'm just going to be chucking the end of the cable through there and pulling it back through, and then lifting it in through the bottom here, like so. Right, now I've taped it to the end of this, so push this little thing through. Yeah. Right, so there's the end of it coming through there. So I open this up a bit. There's the connector for it, which is now being a pain in the arse. So there it is coming out, so we're just pulling it through there. Right, so I've got to pull just enough through so it takes up the slack without getting everywhere. And put the T20 screws back in. Right, now I'll go to the other side now. There we go, it's got rid of the plastic, not plastic, rubber seal for the door. So we'll just take it off of that, shove that through there, and just shove the excess down in through there. Yes, I know the video for this is not the best in the world, but I'm doing this one-handed, by the way, so you'll have to excuse me. Yeah, and I'm doing it upside down. I've still got to put the screws back in, put this fully in. Right. When you put your door sill back in, make sure you put it in properly, nice and tight. But when you get to this bit, you'll notice there's a little lug sticking out on this side, which you need to line up with that hole down there. Yeah, so it joins back together again. So there we go. See, so now you can't see the cable because it's buried that way. Like that. But you're obviously going to see it run across there, so there'll be some excess for me to pull through. So I'm going to put this screw, tighten up these screws at the back here, and then I'll catch you in a minute. Right, I've screwed that back in, so that's that done. So I started feeding the cable down through here, so it's underneath that plastic piece there. Now I've had to take this off up to here, which I'm going to have to stop here. I'm now going to have to take everything out of the boot, shove it through the back here. Yeah, and to get through there, so it means taking out the parcel shelf and everything else. Yes, I've got to take off the parcel shelf and everything out the boot. So I'll come back to that bit when I'm done. Right, we're back again. Right, now I'm taking everything out of the boot, oh, except some gumbo, of course. Keep her up there. Right, now I'm going to be bringing it down through that corner there. I'm going to run the cable underneath here, all the way over to here, and I'm going to be taking off all this side paneling in to get to the reversing light connector cable which is behind here. And also I'll tell you, yeah, which you need for your towbar electrics. And if my neighbour cat, come here you, stop trying to sneak in and trying to get my stuff. Yeah, cheeky little thing. Right, so I'm going to thread that through and try and get the cable. Oh, here's a little tip for you. Just move the seat forward slightly, down a bit, so that you can get the cable through. Yeah, a bit easier. You end up with something like that. Yeah, coming through. There, and then you can slide it all the way down after that. Oh dear. That's what we're going to do. Slide it all the way down. There we go. So we can get that down there. Get that right down there. Get all this tucked down through there nicely. And get the excess all through. And then whilst I'm doing that, you just tuck this in through here. Out the back side. Right, so I've done all that. So now if we come to this side, you see it's all buried in there and you can't see it. It's all underneath this carpet with this sitting back on top, and it runs through here. So let's go to the back. Right, and there you can see there's the excess cable. Now, for those of you who may have spotted this and wondering what it is, this is called a low heat welding rod. Use it with a blowtorch if you need to do a little bit of emergency welding. You need like a plumber's blowtorch that gets hot enough to need at least 800 degrees for this to work. And look, I've got my little visitors coming. The little visitor's gone. Oh well. Right. Now I'm going to drop that side seat down and get all this slot off, because I need to get behind all of that, because I need to get to reversing light here. There's the cables for it behind there. So I'm going to do all that, because I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to get me or not, but we'll give it a go. I'm going to set this somewhere so you can see. The awkward shoulder phones. I'm not sure how much you can see, but on this backlight, got two little black bungs sticking out, which I'm going to take off, because you need to take them off before you can get this side panel out. Otherwise, you're not going to get. It also holds light. You also need to take them out if you want to change the bulbs in these as well. And for God's sake, whatever you do, don't lose them, or you're going to be knackered, because your light's not going to stay on. Wiring system looks like a complete mess down there. Right, so this is the backlight taken off, so I'm just going to undo that clip there. Yes, that's all the towbar connections there. Yeah, and I'll show you which one goes to what in a little while. But that there, this blue one here, where my finger is, that is your side lights. That's your brake lights, is the red one. That's your indicator light. Here's the third one along. That's neutral, so you don't need to worry about. That's your reverse light, and if you're doing the caravan, or on the right hand side, that's your fog light. That one. So you got side lights, brake lights, indicator, neutral, reverse, and fog. What I'm going to do is, to make life easier for myself, I think I might just take the whole of this rear bumper off completely. Makes life easier for myself, and I can get to the holes that I need to underneath here. I can also just make sure my tow bar is still nice and tight. So I'm going to just take all this off. So got a couple of bolts there, in the wheel arch as well. Just check underneath here. Yeah, there's some underneath there, underneath this rubber seal. Yeah, which this rubber seal sits on top of actually. So yeah, that can stay there actually. So we'll get that off. And some under the wheel arch as well. Right, so I'm going to do that. Right, and as you can see, the rear bumper is off. Well, so it's just held in with a couple of bolts underneath, a couple of little T20s underneath at the bottom. There's about 4 of them, one on each wheel arch, and there's a few across the bottom. And T30 black screws at the top. So that's what it looks like without a bumper on, like that. So this is what we're going to do. Mark my holes on here, and I'm going to just stand over the tail of the gate because it's pissing down rain and I'm getting wet. So I started marking out some yellow dots where I'm going to put the holes, but I'm going to drill that in a little while, so I'll see you in a minute when it's finished raining. Right, yeah, you didn't see this bit, but I measured all these. It's 4.5 inches from that corner there to there, 1.5 inches from there to the centre of that, same as these ones all the way along. And as you see, I started fitting them, started to push them through. So I forgot to show you this bit, but I had an annoying person out here. Yeah, I don't like. Right, so I'm going to fit these in, and then we've got to get the ends of these cables, which are over there, yeah, into the back there, which is going to be fun. So I'm going to get these fitted, and I'll come back to you when I've done. Right, that's them all fitted in nicely now. So now it's a case of, now I've got to figure out how to get them into the back of the car, so I'm going to have to take this side off now. By the way, this kit does come with, I'm getting it shot, a hole cutter for them, and that's what I used in my drill to drill the hole through. So you don't need to push down hard on it, you just slight little pressure and it will just cut through for you. And then just round up the burrs off with a knife, being careful. So now I've got to figure out how to get all the cables in through the car. So this fun bit, I've got to take that off now. So I'll come back to you when I've done that. Right, now we've got this side undone. There's three T20 screws. There's one that sits here, one sits in that bit there, but I took the light out what goes down here, and there's a screw at the end there I took out and dropped the seat forward a bit. So as you can see, down there it's all my towbar electrics, all down behind here. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using an earthing point, which is just here, yeah, for the earth, and we're going to do the reversing light connection, which is this cable here. So I'm going to do this and get it connected up with a clip on the end of it, and we should be getting there. So I'll see you in a minute when I've done that. Right, so I've just done the 10mm bolt there. It's just down, not sure if you can see it. Yeah, and I put a little clip on it. I put one of these little devices, but I've used the blue one that's big enough to go on that bolt. So I'm going to try and rest it in here. Hopefully you can see the rest. It says hoping. I'm hoping it's at the right angle so you can see what's going on. If not, tough, because there's nothing I can do about the angle. Right, one got your luck. Right, so I'm going to need that to go in there. Right. I know what I need to do first. Push that back out. Some people say these Scotch locks are useless, but I like them because they're much easier. Yep. And they're easy enough to put in. That's what I like about them. They're easy to use. Right, so we've got that in. So now what we'll do is we look for the reversing light, which is pull that back through here for a minute. Which is that. Which is that one there. It says hopefully. Yes, it is that one there. Yes, because that also powers the bloody reversing camera and stuff on the towbar electrics. Move it back along that cable there. Now we'll try and get it back here. I can be crushed a bit better. I know you probably can't see this, but it's probably not the best thing to do, is how I'm doing it, but I'm not a mechanic, so don't take my word that everything works like this perfectly first time every time, because I'm not a mechanic, so I couldn't really tell you what it should do. Yeah. Fuck it. I can get these in. That's it. That's in. That's that Scotch lock on. Right, now here's the end of it. Right, so we have power monitor. So this has got to be power. So we'll leave the power one off for a minute. So what we've got to do is now is we've got to put bumper back on. Before I do that, I've got to thread it all through this hole here on the outside and try and get it through a hole at the back here, which I'm going to now take one of these bungs out to try and get it in. Hopefully it should fit through that fucking hole there. He says hoping. If not, it's all going to have to come through. Oh, it ain't going to come through that one. Yeah, it's all got to come through there. What about that hole down there? Actually, saying that, let's put this little thing back in here. Actually, let's go for the bigger one down the bottom. Let's go for that middle one there. There we go. Take the middle one of these out. Now, if I show you, if it's still recording, yeah, down there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but trust me, there's a third one of those little black bits down there. So now I'm going to try and get the bumper back on, and I've got to try and fit all the cables through that hole there at the same time, which is going to be the fun bit. So wish me luck. Here we go. So I'll come back once I've got the bumper on and I've got those cables through that hole. Right, to make life a little bit easier, I've got some insulation tape here. I've got a pen, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write on each one of these cables, there's a bit of tape, which one is which, so I know exactly where they all go. So when I put them into the little control box there, I know exactly where they all belong to. So I'm going to start marking these up, and then once they're all in, I'll come back to you. Right, everybody, right, carrying on from the last time, right, at the slight problem, all these holes are drilled here for the parking sensors in the plastic part of the bumper. I've had to enlarge because it was actually pushing these sensors out so they wouldn't go in the holes properly. So I've enlarged each one and all the way along and right the way. And what I've done is, as well, on these, if you look here, yeah, I'll try and wipe some of the crap away. There's a little round circle just here. There's one here and there's one here. And they are in line with 3 holes on the other side, inside the car. I still didn't see my finger, but there's a hole where my finger is on the inside, and that is directly in line with those 3 holes. So you can drill through there and you can shove your cables through there. Yeah, but as you see, here, to the bumper off, you have to take the back lights off to do it. But the bumper comes off quite nicely like this. So this is the rear bumper on the inside, what it looks like. Yes, I know it doesn't look pretty. Each one of those has got contact adhesive, bonding adhesive on each one, all the sensors. So as soon as that's dry, I'm going to line it back up and pop it back on. And I'll have you back when I go to do that. Right, and as you can see, I've got the bumper back on after redoing the cables and enlarging the holes. So as you can see, they sit flush and nice back of the car, so they look good. So that'll be really good. And if you're wondering what that is, that's an extra reversing light. You want to reversing, so when I've got a hitch up a trailer or anything, it shows me where it is, and I can see that because I've got a camera on the back of the car as well, which is aimed just at the top of the tow bar. But basically, that is the car done. So now I've got to screw everything back on, screw the lights on, put the lights on, tidy up the inside of that by putting this control box in here, wiring it all up, and putting the other bit for it on in here as well. And then put everything back together again, and all the screws were up there, back along there. There's 4 T30s going across the top, up here, and there's T20s, one at the top of the wheel arch, one at the bottom of the wheel arch on both sides, and there's 4, well, there's 3 underneath each side of the tow bar. So that should be my next job now, so I should do that and I'll come back to you. Right, now you can see the lights are all back on nicely, and the sensors are all in there perfectly spot on, flush with the bodywork now. Now these are the cables for each sensor, and for those who are probably wondering why I didn't, there's a sensor, there's the control box for it, why I didn't put it behind here. Simple fact is I've got my bypass relay behind here, so there isn't enough room to get that box and the bypass relay to towbar electrics behind there at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect all this up, and I'm going to zip tie the wires up, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sticky that onto there because it comes with a sticky adhesive pad. Stick it there, zip tie all the excess cabling up, and that should be alright, and put the carpet back in properly. And so when I've done that, I'll show you it all when it's finished. So I'm going to pause the camera and I'll come back to it. Right, so in the end I've had to stick it there, and I've had to put a couple of screws in it because it won't hold, and I know the wiring was a bloody mess there. It doesn't matter. It's in the boot and it's out of the way, so I don't really care. But that's about it. So now we're going to just test it now with the ignition on and see what happens after I put everything back together. I'll try it with the ignition on first.